So, hi, I'm Tom Evans, and welcome to another edition of The Zone Show. And I'm thrilled and excited today to be speaking with Sarah McCrum. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Tom.
So, you're obviously an English woman, but down in sunny Australia at the moment.
Yeah, I'm on the Sunshine Coast at the moment, anticipating a thunderstorm. But yeah, it's about 15 years since I lived in England.
Fantastic. Now, do you realise that there are three coincidences that have brought us together? And of course, there are no coincidences. One, we've both worked at the BBC. Two,
Yes,
we've both authored programmes for Avenue. We'll talk about it a bit later.
yeah,
And three, we're both healers, but we never planned to be.
absolutely. How did you know?
Exactly. So, what was your journey to the healing arts and crafts?
Uh, when I was a kid, I was like always top in school.
Yeah.
And my dad used to have little chats with me and tell me, Sarah, you're the creme de la creme. You can go to the top of the civil service, or you can be a headmistress by the time you're 30, or you can be a lawyer. And so that's what I thought I would do. And I became a school teacher, and I just didn't like it. And by 28, I was nowhere near being a headmistress and nowhere near anywhere in the civil service. And I wasn't interested in law at all. But actually, I guess what really triggered it, when I was 30, my sister had a brain tumor
Mm-hmm.
and she died after about 21
Oh,
months.
sorry to hear that.
And I suppose that just completely changed my direction in life. And I just somehow remember realizing that nobody was going to take care of my health if I didn't. And so I very quickly became a bit of a health freak at the time, probably. And I started going home from the BBC at 6 o'clock in the evening, which was in the department where I worked was absolutely unheard of. And so
No
it became very
drinkies.
boring. They were drinking till 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yes, after about 6 months after she died, I was so stuck. And I was just like one big blockage. And I saw an acupuncturist and she released it, or it disappeared within 1 hour. And it was absolutely phenomenal. And I
Wow.
guess that kind of started the whole journey of natural health. And from there, I started to learn more and more and do more and more stuff. And I never really realized I was a healer for a very long time. It wasn't a label I would have given myself, but, in the end, it comes.
Isn't that funny? Because I don't really call myself a healer, but I know that people that come along get healed and that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So, and
Yeah.
I always think it's what other people call you, not what you call yourself, anyway. So, do you
Yes. I
reckon
mean, I
that?
tried. Oh, go on.
Do you reckon that on your journey, then you've reached your full potential?
No, no. It's interesting, this whole thing about potential, because I only realized recently that my whole story about potential was because of this, having started off with this so-called great potential that just didn't happen. And then this switch in direction. And I realized that I'd actually been kind of searching for it and researching it for a lot of my life because it didn't work out the way it should do. On one level, probably we all feel there's this potential, there's that part of us we haven't reached yet. And of course, you can't actually really reach that because everything you reach, there's always going to be more potential opening up in front of you.
Mm.
So, in a way, that's almost like a trick question because it's good that we feel this potential expansion of ourselves. That's what makes us alive and awake. But I think the thing that really changed for me, and I'm extraordinarily grateful for, is that I feel that I have now a map, if you like. I know what I need to do to develop whatever potential I want, not in terms of the details, the actions, but because of various things I've learned from some really great people. I have like really a little set of maps which give all the ground rules. And once I had that, I stopped feeling like it was a guessing game. Before, I always felt like it's really hit and miss. Like I might kind of make something sometime, or I might just continue in this like I've really completely missed it and everyone's a bit disappointed in Sarah kind of thing. And I don't really feel like that anymore. I feel like I've got the pieces and now it's a question of doing it. And that's a very different place to be.
So if you had advice to someone that was like a younger Sarah than at 30, how would they go about this journey? What? Because everyone's path's different, of course, isn't it? But how can you
Yes.
generally start about this journey of activating your potential and opening up to your full potential?
Um, I think if I was really talking to a younger Sarah, I would probably send them to a few teachers very quickly and get them to do the courses.
Yes.
But if I would summarize that, what I've kind of figured out that are really, really important things for everybody to develop their potential. I feel that it's really important that we all are able to relax. Like, you can't really do anything if you're not able to relax. And most of us rush around life not being very relaxed. Everything turns around when you're able to relax and when you're able to receive energy. But I talk about energy a lot, and I just find it incredibly important. So I would say that that's absolutely fundamental, and not to imagine you can do anything very much if you're really tense all the time. I think it is really important to be able to, well, there's a whole different understanding of life, of energy, of potential, of how we can live our life that is kind of coming in, and people like you promote that kind of understanding. And we need to learn that. We need to actually get it into our heads. We need to start to look at things differently. So, for example, I teach people about pain. I teach them to look at pain in a completely different way from what they've ever learned from doctors or anybody else. And that's the way that it's really easy to heal pain. But if you don't have the understanding, it doesn't happen. So I think we need a massive amount of education at the moment. I mean, I would put it in schools. I would give it to 5-year-olds to teach them about energy, to teach them about all the truer laws of nature. So that would be a really important thing. And then it's kind of like builds in steps for me. As you go further, there are more and more steps open up as to what you need to grow and learn in order to really develop your potential.
So would it matter then? Because there seems to be so many different methodologies out there and so many different teachers. Does it matter which one you choose, or would it be better just to allow the one that appears to come into your life and allow the energy to flow in, if you know what I mean?
I think both are true. In a way, yes, it does matter, because quite often you can choose. I've actually seen people choose teachers who are at a lower level than them because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have any map, they didn't have any understanding of the levels that we go through.
Okay.
And so they literally didn't know what was up and what was down. And they are working with people who are sometimes pulling them down rather than pulling them up. And that's because of ignorance.
Yes.
But on the other hand, with a certain level of discernment and kind of clarity, if you know what you really want, then for sure the teachers will appear in your life. But it doesn't work very well if you're not clear, I don't think. So you might need help then to become clear about what you really want. Then the flowing bit works.
And is that something you could offer?
I mean, I do coach people. I do coach people, and I teach courses or have online courses. So I do teach those kinds of things. My coaching is quite specific, and it's pretty, it's top end, so it's not for everybody. But definitely, for example, people show up. I have a website that's for healing, and they show up at that website, or they show up asking for help because they really need healing. And that's a way, they can get healing 24 hours a day through that website. So that's the kind of way I might show up in somebody's life, that's what they're looking for. And then they meet me or they hear about me. Yes, that definitely happens.
And of course, the Avenue programs that we've both written, they're very accessible in terms of one, price, and two, the amount of involvement that someone has to have in them, which is just 2 or 3 minutes a day, isn't it? So, and your program is lovely and gentle to get your head around and to get into.
But when I first heard about it, I just thought 2 minutes a day? Like, what on earth can you do with 2 minutes a day? I was so shocked in a way. But actually, when I put it together, and those 2 minutes are very compact, and each 2 minutes has its little message that can kind of really grow over time. And I saw the power of even that 2 minutes a day over 30 days. And I've actually had people come back, and people who've done nothing less than 30 minutes or 60 minutes with me, some of them over many years. And they say they're actually really enjoying these little 2-minute bites. So I guess that it's working.
Well, listen, as we got the power of radio and the magic of radio, should we just play one in so people can get an idea of what they sound like?
Yeah, sure.
And what's this one called?
This one, I'm just going to check. Okay. This one is called Activate Your Body. I actually don't want to tell you what it's about because it unfolds within the new itself.
You are
but
very
it is
wise.
just yeah, it's just like a little tweak, a little something that might switch something on in your mind or in your body or even in your heart and make a difference.
Thank you for sharing. Well, that was very subtle, wasn't it? And lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sarah. And so there's another 29 where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful. So your journey then, I'm just fascinated by your journey because I love the way that timelines intertwine, you know, and I'm still like a resistant healer and a resistant teacher, you know, sort of stuff. And I haven't really owned up to being that person yet, but I deliver it when people turn up. Did you find resistance to growing into to becoming a healer in yourself?
I experienced tremendous resistance to spirituality. I learned how to heal because I was training with a Chinese master for a very long time who was a very powerful healer, and every single person there learned how to heal naturally. And we did it in a way just by talking. So there was no hands-on stuff or anything, not at all like traditional healing. And so that was very natural for me because I love talking. And I thought, what a wonderful way to heal just through conversation that is like a conversation over the dinner table or sitting down, you know, very normal. But what I really found very scary was admitting the spiritual part. It produced a lot of fears about, you know, being connected with anything about God or anything about religion. And I don't know, that was very, very hard for me. And it's only probably in the last year or so I've discovered that there's a tremendous power in admitting it and talking openly about things like that. It's really incredible. Even if you feel very incompetent, as I often did, I would talk about love and I would think, oh my God, you know, like I have some experience, but is that really enough? And who am I to talk about this and all of that stuff? But I just saw that it just had such an impact on people. And the braver I am to talk about what I really feel and experience inside, I've noticed the more impact it has. However much I might feel like, oh, should I really do that?
Now, I've just got a shiver down the back of my spine because this is the first time I've spoken about this on air to anybody. And I'm in the same boat where I just feel that not only am I feel now brave enough to talk about it and to share it and to teach it, but also it feels to me that the world is ready to hear it. And you know, we've learned some fantastic things. You know, medical science is amazing of what's been discovered, but there's this other power that's within all of us, and it's not a special thing. There's just healers out there. Every single human, in fact, every life form, can tap into the healing energy. So, what sort of things, just so people that maybe have not experienced this kind of healing, what sort of things can be healed using these tools?
A really nice example, actually. I was a client. My website has lots of recordings on it of like healing relaxations and video teaching and stuff like that. I just teach people how to heal themselves with energy. And she's listened every single day. She's a very good, you know, she just shows up every single day on the site and listens to stuff and sends me emails all the time. And I do a few live group sessions as well. So she comes to those. She came in July with a mass of different sicknesses, diabetes, and then pains all over the place, all her organs out of balance, probably 10 or 20 years of growing sickness, chronic fatigue, probably fibromyalgia, the whole lot, unable to work. She told me the other day that she must have forgotten her insulin or something for her diabetes, and it didn't make any difference. And then she started to experiment, and she said, you know what, if I take insulin now, it makes me feel so sick that I just can't take it anymore. And so, you know, if you can heal those kind, you know, she was supposed to be on insulin for the rest of her life, and I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything. It just, you know, helped her to relax. Through that power of relaxation and receiving clean energy, if you like, fresh energy, which is what I teach people how to do, you can essentially release the roots of almost, well, any disease, as long as you can stay alive long enough. That's my principle. You need to stay alive. Like, so if somebody's very, very sick and close to dying, everything's possible, but it's extremely challenging. But if you're alive, as long as you're alive, we are in a continual healing process. Like, healing is becoming whole, and we can become more and more whole because we can always become a greater whole. So healing is not something you do just because you're sick. It's something that we do just through our whole life every single day. And because of that, you can gradually just clean out more and more and more of the stuff that causes sickness. And then you can learn to prevent the sicknesses you might get in the future, and then the stuff that goes with aging. And through that, you totally turn the direction of your life around. And who knows, who knows where we'll go when we do this for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
But this is massive, isn't it? Because not only can
Yes.
it have, in microcosm, it has a great benefit to an individual, but if you scale this up to countries and you look at the whole health service and the health spending and this sort of stuff, this could just save so much money and also give people much better quality of life.
Honestly, Tom, when I think about it, like, I know how easy it is to train people to do what I do, because if somebody's sick and they come and they learn it, they become a healer. Some of them are more natural than others. Some people love it. Some people don't want to, but everybody learns how to heal. So it's that easy to train people that you work with them, and then, there's a little bit of advice that I can give them, but not a lot. And honestly, one person, if there was a crisis, and the World Health System kind of crashed down or something, one person with the right technology could talk to thousands, even millions of people. They could heal them over the internet. And I mean, it's so phenomenal what's possible, and it's so cheap to deliver. It's like, it almost doesn't make any sense in the context of what we're used to, because it's such a different approach to doing things. And you go away with this knowledge and increasing ease within yourself. A 5-year-old can do it. It's really easy. So it is an incredible thing. I think it's just the most wonderful thing that this kind of knowledge is coming through now, because it will radically change not just our health system, it will change our health for our entire future.
So I guess there's a few elements to this then, isn't there? The first is not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because our health service professionals are amazing, and the ability to fix people that have been in accidents and things like that is the technology is amazing.
And not only that, and many people, something like this, when you bring a new technology in, this is like bringing in a new technology. Yeah. It's not something that people adopt overnight. That you've got your early adopters, and then you've got the people who follow them, and you have to build trust. And the medical system will have had to do that too. When they first introduced antibiotics, I'm sure that not everybody rolled up for their antibiotics. And this is harder because it takes commitment. It's easy because it's enjoyable. You feel great most of the time. Sometimes you don't, because, if you're sick, you don't. But it is harder because you can't just take something and, just swallow something and then everything goes away. So yes, I think the whole point is about a phased transition, but it's also about knowing that these kinds of possibilities are here, so that especially for diseases that at the moment can't be easily dealt with medically, and there are many of them, people can much more actively start to explore different options.
Wow. And obviously, I guess one of the fundamental tenets of what you're talking about is that when you use these modalities in your life, you don't get ill in the first place. So you don't create a strain on the health system and have to go into into hospital or go and see a doctor. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw a GP, to be honest with you.
Oh no, it's been about 20, 25 years for me. But I think, the beauty of it is, well, what I find with what I learned from this incredible Chinese knowledge is, like, if I feel a little pain or something in my body, there's such a shift for me. Like, I'm 55 and I know that if I didn't have that experience, if I start to feel aches and pains in my body, I would say, oh, this is aging. This is going to be with me probably for the rest of my life. And then the likelihood is it will be. And I don't say that. I just say, oh, this is some kind of healing going on. That's great. And it goes away. And, that's such a huge difference because a lot of our understanding about health, it's like a weight on us that pulls our health downwards. And when you switch that around, your health can lift upwards from the same point that maybe you do feel something. I mean, I do feel things from time to time. I think that's quite normal, but they heal and go away because I never accept them as something that's long term or getting worse or bad.
So
And that's the big shift.
interesting. So as we're on the Zone show, then I guess this is very resonant with the concept behind the book, that when you're in the zone, everything goes really well, and life it goes swimmingly. And then when you're out of the zone, the wheels fall off the bus. So I guess then these pains and aches and pains are like a symptom that you've just fallen off out of the zone for a while, and then you can get back in it at all. So as we're on the Zone show, and I love experimenting, could you just take our listeners through we haven't rehearsed this, and I haven't briefed you on this at all, but I know that you're up for it. Like intuitively, I know you can do it. Could we do a quick sort of few minutes meditative journey for the listeners that would help them just release some aches and pains in their body?
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just close your eyes and sit back as comfortably as you can wherever you are. And allow the weight of your body to drop down into the chair. It's like all the heavy energy in your body, the old energy, is melting out of you, melting down into the chair and into the ground. And drop your mouth slightly open and breathe through your mouth, which might make you feel a little bit stupid, but it doesn't matter. And breathe down into your stomach and lower belly. Just breathe nice and naturally, nothing special. And allow the weight, the heaviness, to drop down. Relax your stomach. Relax your lower belly. And your hips. And your lower back. Relax your legs. And your feet. So your body is gradually becoming more open, softer, and you start to receive some new, fresh energy, which is healing energy. Relax your forehead and your face. So your face is soft and open. Just like you're sitting in the early morning sun and the sun's shining on your body and warming you up. There's this beautiful, fresh energy that is flowing through you and heals and releases and refreshes and recharges. Just let that energy flow through you and relax you and bring you some ease and peace. Okay, and now just stay very relaxed. You don't really need to come out of it. Just stay there, stay relaxed, stay peaceful, and stay receiving fresh energy. And see if you can do that even a little bit more later during the day. Thank you.
Well, thank you. What a gift to share. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was beautiful. And I have to tell you that we're doing this on a Skype video call. And I podcast these so you hear the audio. But I'm going to put the video of this up on YouTube because as you were speaking, all I could see was the most perfect halo around your head.
Oh, that's nice.
It was almost like the old religious iconography, where you see the perfect white halo around people's heads.
You
So I
must
put this.
be you must be very sensitive to energy.
Well, there's a technique we can maybe talk about. I think this is the great thing about the Zone Show is we can talk about anything, and it's rare for me to be able to speak with somebody of your caliber. I would say you're an amazing healer. I can just sense that. And something I'd like to do is explain how I see auras over Skype, which shouldn't be done. So I'm an ex-BBC TV engineer, right? So I know how light goes into a camera, gets converted into electrons, beamed halfway around the planet, and then gets converted in light so the other person can see it. But for some years, I've been able to see auras over Skype, which doesn't make electronic sense. So what happens is your third eye sees the aura in the other person, and that's the way you perceive it. And the way you do it, and I'm going to share this with the listeners, and I'll put a link under the podcast so you can go and look at the video of this if you want to experience this, because I want to share this with the world. What you do is you look straight in Sarah's eyes on the video, and this works on replay as well as it does live, which is the weirdest thing. But you then focus, your attention goes above and below Sarah's head and to the left and right of her ears. So even though you're looking right in her eyes on the video, and I'd love for people to put comments on this blog or on the YouTube video of what they experience, because I think we need to share that the energy is shifting and there's some wonderful things happening on the planet right now. So there's going to be, not only was the live unrehearsed visualization that Sarah took us through, that was beautiful, but also let's do some live research and put the debate out there.
Cool. It's rather like looking at those 3D pictures, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where you have to kind of make your focus all blurry, and then suddenly it kind of clicks.
It pops in, and I can still see it now. And then, but if I go, if my attention drops into the now, it then disappears again. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So listen, I don't think we can top that. So I think I'm going to say, Sarah, where can people find out about you? Where can they find your avenue?
The simplest way to find everything, actually, because I have different choices for people at different places in their life, whether they need like physical healing or relationship healing or other kinds of healing. I have a website, which is just my name, sarahmccrum.com. And on the homepage, there are links to all the other things. So that's really the simplest place. It will take you to the Avenue, to Heart of Healing, which is the healing site, and to some other things as well.
And will you do me the great pleasure of coming back on the Zone show again in the new year?
I would love to. I've really enjoyed it. It's so nice to be able to talk openly in a public setting. Often when you're going into public, people say, oh, you better be careful about that and you shouldn't do that. But I don't feel that with you. It's like everything's open. So it's really a nice experience.
Oh, thank you so much. And my view is that, I didn't know any of this stuff till I was about 45, and then I started to experience it. And rather than trying to suppress it as a scientist and an engineer, I thought, well, let's research what is happening. How are we just healing people in an instant? How are rashes just disappearing on people's bodies, and people's gluten allergies just disappearing? I've even healed people's second-degree burns, and the skin's just healed itself. And to me, this doesn't need to be put under in the closet. It needs to be researched and it needs to be looked at, because this is a real actual thing that's happening right now, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it's the future.
Yeah, which is
it's now, but it's such a great future for us.
Well, Sarah, I'm so thrilled that our timelines have crossed, and I've got to thank the wonderful people at Avenue for bringing such amazing souls together, which they're doing. Daniel and Prosper, you're doing a job which is much bigger than I think we all know and you know. So thank you for that, and I'm so pleased that you come into our world, Sarah.
And thank you very much, Tom.